My name is Gavin Evans, and this is my review of Sick. And if you don't know what this movie is, it's a horror movie set in April 2020 when COVID was just beginning, and it focuses on these two friends who quarantine at a lake house together, and they might be getting stalked. Ooh. And I'm going to try my best not to get political with this movie review because it's about COVID and everybody has their opinions, they'll form stances. Okay, but one thing real quick. Did people actually disinfect their cereal boxes? Was that a thing that people actually did? Okay, that's it. I swear that's the last one. I promise. Cross my heart, I promise. Okay, that's it. On to the movie review. I do like the fact this movie does remain politically neutral. It doesn't take one stance or the other. COVID is a thing that's present in this movie. Characters talk about it. It's in the newscast. But it's just something to, what's the word? It's not the focus of this movie. It's just a background detail that should allow this movie to stand out, but at the same time, it really doesn't. Like, it's mentioned a lot at the start of this movie and at the end, but for the majority of the middle of this movie, it's completely irrelevant. This movie could have taken place in June 2018 and it would be, for the most part, pretty same. So if you're going to have a hook, like a horror movie taking place during COVID, then actually use that to your advantage. Make that your hook. Make that the thing that allows your movie to stand out. And they just don't do enough with it, unfortunately. I do like the fact this movie is like 81 minutes long, and there's a lot of credits. So I think it's closer to 70 minutes. And in a day and age where every movie is way too long, this was quite refreshing in some ways. Now, it's not a good movie. In fact, I'd say it's very bad, but at least it's short. It's directed by John Hines, who directed this other movie called Alone, which is about this girl who escapes this guy in the woods, and that entire movie is just one long chase scene. And that's the case with this movie. Like 40 minutes of it is one long chase scene. And it's just so redundant and repetitive. It's just like, is there going to be anything else to this movie? Is there going to be any escalation, any bit of build up? And no. So because of that, the movie just feels really flat. And it's also written by Kevin Williamson, who wrote one of my favorite movies of all time, Scream. I think he also did Scream 2 and Scream 4. I think. I'm pretty sure. If he did, great. I like those movies. If not, then I still like them, but he didn't write them. But the last 15 minutes of this movie, it's too squeamish. Sorry. It feels like it's poured from a Scream movie. Someone is tied up, the villain reveals their identity and why they're doing the crimes that they are. It's just like, couldn't you have gone about it in a way that at least makes it feel a tad bit different? I guess not, so that didn't really work for me. And the characters are just all really flat. None of the performances are good. You've got Gideon Adlon and Bessel Million, and they just have zero character. They add nothing to this movie. Like, remember when horror movies had characters with personality? Like, look at Scream. Every character there, no matter how minor, stands out in some sort of way, and that's just not the case with this movie. You've got Dylan Sprayberry, who I kind of liked in this movie, but unfortunately they didn't utilize him enough. I thought he was adding some nice drama, some nice character conflict, and then that character conflict and that drama goes away. I'll say that and keeps this review spoiler free. Joe Courtney, he's from Super 8. Loved him in Super 8. Very great, underrated movie. Ever since then, he's done the kissing booth in this movie. I feel bad for the guy. Because I think he's got talent and he's not bad in this movie. He's actually fine, but I just wish he had a better career. This movie is not remotely scary at all. There's not a moment where I was on the edge of my seat. There's no tension. It's never thrilling. You know, there's numerous scenes where the bad guy is standing in the hallway, and we see them. They don't. And I just felt nothing. And when they're getting chased, there are so many moments where the girls fight back, and they actually are doing a really good job at it. They're kicking ass. And that kind of diminishes the stakes a bit. Because whenever they're in danger, they're getting out of it just fine. And I'm just thinking to myself, they could probably take this guy on. So there's that. Also, I don't like the fact there's only 3 characters. Because, well, the best part about movies like this is the amount of kills. And you don't really get that here. You've got some great brutal kills, but not enough. And also when there's a lot more characters, that's how you show a clear escalation. That's how you ramp up the tension, the stakes. And this movie just doesn't do that. And also the villains are really boring. Their motives I didn't mind, but they're just so flat. Like, they're just wearing all black with ski masks, but with like black masks. Like, it's just a very boring look. Like, the movie's taking place during COVID, so it would at least be different if they had the blue masks on and that was their killer look. But no, we just get something very generic. It's like they went out of way to make this movie feel as generic as possible. You know what it actually did for me? It makes me appreciate The Strangers more. Because it's actually like the exact same plot as this movie. You know, 2 people in a lake house getting stalked by strangers. But the strangers had grit, it had atmosphere, it had tension. Those moments where there is someone just standing in the hallway actually really got under my skin there. And here, I just feel none of that. I feel like we're just getting so many movies nowadays and they're feeling more generic and they're getting made worse. And I can't think of like the last horror movie to like really scare me, like in that insidious kind of way. You know, Megan had some great psychological elements. Maybe The Invisible Man would be it. Yeah, it's probably The Invisible Man. I want scary horror movies again. Or clever ones. Or entertaining ones. But this movie is none of the above. It's got an interesting hook that they just do nothing with. The characters are all flat. It's never tense. It's never scary. And it's the movie that I'm never going to think about again. So I'm going to go ahead and give Sick a 4 out of 10. But are you sick of generic horror movies? Let me know in the comments down below. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Stay tuned for some more videos soon. And Gavin, out.